Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we're here to dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Hi, sinners, and welcome to episode 3, season 2 of your new favorite podcast, Come With Us. I am Sussy Nunez, and this week I'm very, very grateful for my new YouTube channel, by the way. I forgot about that. That I'm gonna be, talking about self-development and like how to be like a very nice woman. Not in a high value, more in the inner work type of woman. So I'm excited about that and grateful. What about you, Reshea?
I love that. I'm Reshea Kelly, and this week I am grateful for Phoebe from Friends for making having a cold sound sexy.
I just watched that episode.
Smelly cat, smelly cat.
She says like, be a good boy and bring me a whiskey.
I got hot toddy right here. We're gonna have a fun episode, everybody.
Okay. So this is part 2 of Losers 1. And this week we're gonna be talking about dynamics, relationships, and how these people are fucked up, and we love it because we are too.
Yeah. And also it's our podcast and we do what we want.
Yes. Honestly, yes. You see, this year I'm more the feminine side, and Reshea's like, I'm a brat. So I love that she's embracing the energy. Okay.
Anyways, so we talked about everybody individually last week, right? And how each character exists in their own right. I want to talk about their unique and individual relationships and just, I don't know, gawk for a minute with everybody who's listening over how wonderful of a representation this is of a polyamorous relationship, because it is nuanced and each relationship is different. And there are certain relationships that are just platonic and certain relationships that are more than that. And they're not equal and they're not expected to be equal, but they still all work together. And I think it's just fantastic.
I love how all of them they have different traumas.
Mm-hmm.
All of especially the men, even though she has some too, Jessica. Yeah. I love how they all represent like something different. And even though some of their traumas can like appear they are the same or they can relate in a way, they all live through them in such different ways. So trauma is, if you put trauma in a book, I will be reading that. I don't know. Maybe it's my psychological brain. I love it. And the way that this author wrote these characters is fascinating, because you actually, I think I said that on the last episode, but I want to reiterate it. That's how you say it, right?
Reiterate, yeah.
Fucking hate English. American English. Reiterate. Oh my God. You know what I mean.
I'm pretty sure the British say it too.
But no, it's the pronunciation here.
Reiterate.
Yeah, that's easier than cutting, whatever. Let's go.
Making all of our T's. Anyways, this has nothing to do with the book.
Okay. 108 more this. I actually forgot what I was talking about. Give me one second. Yes, no, I forgot. Let's continue. The thing is that I love how they wrote this book and how they represent a lot of us. Maybe not in a very intense way on their traumas, like not 100%, but in a way. Yeah. So yes, let's start diving into it. They are also protective of her, even Jason, who hates it.
Jason didn't hate her, but he discusses in his chapters how he struggles with trusting Jess, and he has the same struggles that Lucas has, but he's much more reserved about them. Like, he's not going to be the person that's rocking the boat, but he's also going to keep Jess at arm's length. And he even talks about, even though he doesn't necessarily trust her, he can start feeling these emotions for her, but he's not sure if he should be feeling those things. But the second her safety comes into question, he's like, oh, absolutely not. What was your opinion of that similarity between all of them and her? Like as if like she's the circle here and they're all out here. Like, all these connections when it comes to protecting her are the same. Like, they're all going to go down for her no matter what. How did it make you feel?
I loved it because I don't know if you, Sinner, had ever a relationship like this, but when you are with someone like that, it's a very intense feeling. And I love the fact that she didn't have one, she had 4 guys that were very intense about protecting her and all of that. So in my opinion, I love it. Did I think when I was reading that it was a bit intense? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But they're 22, one.
True.
They are basically orphans-ish. So
except for Vincent.
Not Vincent, yeah. Well, I mean, I love Vincent's family. Don't get me wrong. I love them. I really do. I think they are wow. But I do have my opinions about them too.
I do as well. And I put it
okay.
And I put it in our outline for book 2 because that's when we actually meet Vincent's family. So we're gonna But I have opinions and so does Susie. Tune in next week to find out what they are.
Definitely. Going back, even though they're kind of like, okay, the 3 of them are very orphan-ish, I do think that if, as humans, when we find something that we like, that we really love, that we admire, and we think that we cannot live without, we are going to act the same way they are with Jessica. So I get that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
intense nonetheless.
Yeah, it reminds me of I was in middle school. This is so dumb.
My magnesium.
Look down and something you just but
healthy girly right here. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say the intense desire to protect somebody reminds me of a time in middle school when I was best friends with this girl named Aubrey. And she had a boyfriend named Tyson. So yeah, they were dating. And I think they only dated because they were both like the tallest people in school.
that only makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, who else are you going to date? But basically one day, Aubrey found out that Tyson had broken up with her through friends. Like he didn't even tell her. He told his friends. Yeah, we were like 13. All right, it's not.
Maybe No, I know, but
okay. My best friend protectiveness came out in full force. I found him after school, like walking to his car, or he was walking away from campus, and I saw my mom like parked by the street, and I was like, Tyson, and he goes, what? And I was like, how dare you? Don't ever hurt my friend. Like I went all out on him. 12-year-old me had very intense feelings. And I'm realizing now that they're having these feelings about Jess because their brains are just not finished developing.
No, I think, well, I was reading both of the books.
Yeah.
Especially book 1 and 2. I had to constantly remind myself, even though they are very sirs, very masters, they are 22.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something that you really, because we are adults, like we have an age, and we know that 22-year-olds are like and when it comes to like her and protecting her and them acting in silly ways, what they did at the party and all of that, like to me that was something that us with this age
as
that
a 33-year-old, no, if a bunch of people broke in and bashed up my super expensive cars and left their friend to get to take the fall, I would not punish her by running a train on her. And then, I would say, you know what? We're going to call the police. I know the police have issues with the police. So that's why they didn't call the police. Well, I'm going to call insurance. I'm going to get this taken care of. And that's why Manson is an adult, because he was on the phone with the insurance person.
Yes. When we talk about being adults in this relationship, the first person that comes to my mind is Manson and then Jason.
Really? Mine was okay. So I don't disagree with you, but the first time or I guess the only time I made a note in my Kindle about who was an adult, it was Lucas. And it was because they were sitting there all talking about like, well, what if we were to proposition her this? And we could just say, like, you can pay us back with, extra favors or whatever. And Lucas looked at everybody and goes, you guys are all thinking with your dicks, like you're stupid. And he just walked away. And I was like, Lucas is the only adult.
I love how Harley like sprinkled those adult mature moments with all of them.
Yeah.
Not only
Because they are
Lucas,
growing
Jason,
up.
or Manson. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they were all in some form forced to grow up too soon. So they're like, okay, so we learned that he was still in high school and his dad died. He had to figure out how to not be homeless. And he was trying to prioritize electricity over food and things like that. Like, yeah, he had to grow up, but so did Manson in certain ways too,
That we see that is like more of his story when we go to the second book. But reading that, imagine like a 15, 16, 17-year-old living through that alone. Wow, it's
and being relieved by his dad being dead. Like, how bad was it before?
It's a whole thing. No, the second book is so good. I cannot wait to talk about it.
Jessica was kind of musing about why she was a bully to them and what the dynamic was in their relationship that kept her drawn to them. And she kind of came to the conclusion that it was because they were the only people who she could kind of show that fucked up side of herself to. And she couldn't hide who she was, no matter how hard she tried. Sorry, no matter how hard she tried around them. And that kept pulling her back in because she was like, no, like, how dare you, And so then she gets into this point of the book where she's like, oh, I'm not masking for the first time. I'm not acting the way that my mom wants me to act to, to be accepted by her. I'm not acting the way my friends want me to act in order to be accepted by them. I'm just being myself and getting to decide what I like and what I want. And they're still not walking away from me. So I just like, that's so important in relationships. If you feel like you're trying to be somebody else for them, or if you feel exhausted when you're done hanging out with them because you were sucking it in and you weren't eating the right food and you didn't wear clothes that you thought were comfortable that you liked, but you thought that they would like, and you didn't talk about the things you like to talk about. You pretended to like football or whatever. Like, that's a sign that that's not the right relationship.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And she just found who she was with them. And that is something that we see a lot throughout the books, like how she sees not only sexually, because of course her sexual awakening really helped her realize who she is and who she wasn't, who is she going to become. But it's more of she didn't know who she was because she was always looking for the approval of others. And now she's like, I don't fucking care. My guys love me the way I am.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I love me the way I am. And I don't need to like prove anything to anyone else. And I think that was so powerful because we see that in a lot of the books, like in all of the books that we have a female character. We get it. But with her was very precise because she was a people pleaser, not in a conventional way, but she was.
Oh, absolutely. She was a victim of intergenerational trauma and this hand-me-down cookie cutter style that she had to fit with the way she spoke and the kind of company she kept and the clothes she wore and the things she was interested in. I would be interested to know if she ever even liked cheerleading or if she ever even liked doing the extracurriculars she had. I mean, because it just seems so clear to me that she was not allowed to have an opinion because her mom was so overbearing and so controlling. And I think that stems from her mom's own insecurities because her mom needed her daughter to be that way to validate the way that she was raised. Because if she had to admit that her daughter didn't like those things, then she would have to admit that her own mom maybe didn't do that great of a job at building herself up. And sometimes, sometimes in therapy, it's hard to realize that your parent isn't perfect.
Like my mom the other day told me something like, I don't know why you go to therapy. Like nobody needs it. And I'm like, oh no, I remember. Just something like, I don't know. You guys are always talking about trauma and blah blah blah, but I don't have any. And I'm like, oh my god, you're killing me. You're killing
Was your mom written by Harley LaRue? Is she a character in a
She
book?
could have been. She could have been. Oh my god. But
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
Jessica's mom is the perfect example of a lot of our parents. And Jessica is the perfect example of how we were brought up to be. But we said, no. So here we are talking about smut in a podcast for the world.
Hey. So one other thing I wanted to touch on is Vincent taught me a word. So I'm sorry, Harley taught me a word. We're on first name basis now. I hope they are okay with it.
They love us. They love us. I know they love us.
Can't get enough. So Vincent's talking to Jess, and he says, compersion, it's when you feel happy for someone else's happiness. Like when Vincent flirts with you. Oh, I guess it was Jason that said, I lied. Jason said it. Like when Vincent flirts with you, I know he's enjoying himself and enjoying your company. So it makes me happy. And I 100% stand this man forever because that's a concept that a lot of monogamous people don't understand about non-monogamous people.
When I was reading these books, you guys know, I am very open. I'm a very open polyamorous woman. I believe in loving a lot of people at the same time because I think it's possible because I actually have experienced it before. In the books, I was like, they get me. They understand my brain. They're here with me. And I love that because even though I love and read a lot of white choose books, they don't go into this part. We just know that they love each other and that's it. But Hardy went into it. Like she or they explained everything. And I love how they wrote it in a very comprehensible way. Not okay, let's just do poetry and whatever. No. I like when you do things to Jason or Vincent or Manson because I know they're happy and that makes me happy. That's beautiful. That is the definition of, of love in general.
Yeah. A lot of people get caught up, I think, in the jealousy of it all, in the ownership of it. And I think that's this day and age, it's not necessary. I know it's a human emotion that exists, but it's still a frustrating one. I don't have anything smart to say about how to overcome it. So
look, jealousy is like the most normal thing ever. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think one, the way you react, and two, what you're feeling it towards two, it's the problem. Like if you're a poly person and you're feeling a little bit left out from your relationships, talk about it. You're not talking about it. That's why you're feeling jealous. Communication is key for poly or non-poly relationships. So that's what they had. Because at some point I remember that, I think it's on the second book, but Jessica, it's like, I don't know if I feel like, I know I feel the same from all of them, but I don't know like how to tell them, or if I tell one of them that I love them, I don't want the other one to feel left out. And at the end, they all talked about it, and it was beautiful and very non-human because we wouldn't manage it that way.
I think that what made it possible for them is that a lot of times in like a non-monogamous relationship, it doesn't move for, let's say you're a couple, a man and a woman, just so that the pronouns don't get confusing, right? Man and a woman decide to become open or poly or what have you. And a lot of times their journey doesn't move at the same pace. So they're not going to get the same number of swipes on their dating apps. They're not going to get asked out or get successful date offers at the same rate. For some people, one partner will go on multiple dates. They'll end up having intimate relationships with one or even two or three more people, while the other partner is having like zero luck. And a lot of times that can cause issue in non-monogamy. What they have that I think kind of combats that is that they all have their own meaningful relationships outside of their relationship with Jess. So yes, Jess isn't being just with Manson or Jason or Lucas or Vincent, but they don't have to sit there when Jess is with someone else going, oh, what's she doing? And blah, blah, blah. They have their own meaningful relationships outside of their relationship with Jess, with each other. And the fact that they had those meaningful relationships before Jess, and the fact that they all were kind of a chosen family together, probably made it a little bit easier. Though they talk about in the second book how there were still some apprehensive like feelings, but I think it's definitely important, like when you're doing something like that, to make sure that you're cultivating your own personal relationships instead of just focusing on what your non-monogamous partner is doing in theirs.
That point right there, the one that you ended with, focusing on someone else. Why? The only control you have is your square foot. That's it. Whatever the other person feels, you cannot do anything about that. So it's like, to me, it's like fighting with the wind. You're not doing anything, you know? There's no control there. So yes, but to your point about then having like a balance in a way because they have relationships between themselves. Yes. Because it's not only Jessica and Manson, and then maybe sometimes Vincent. No, it's Vincent, Jason, it's Lucas, Manson, and Vincent, Jason, and then Jessica comes into play. But since the beginning. So it's good, and I understand that point, but I do say, and I can say, it's possible to have that, even if you don't have four guys that are, together with each other. That's possible too.
One other thing is, like, this is a very specific kind of polyamorous relationship. It's almost like, what would you call a throuple with 5 people? Like a quintuple. It's a quintuple. But that's super rare. A lot of times, I think I learned this from listening to one of our friends' podcasts, Double Teamed with Cammie and Nikki.
Go and listen to Double Team if you don't know them, because they're the best.
They're so great at teaching you things you didn't even know you didn't know. I think the term is polycule, and it's because it kind of ends up looking a little bit like a molecule. So like there's not always a center person. Not everybody always gets together equally, kind of like how in this book there's Jess is with all of them, but then Manson and Lucas are together, and Vincent and Jason are together, but then sometimes like Jason and Manson will be together. It's just always kind of been a little bit askew, and that's probably a lot more representative of your average polyamorous or non-monogamous relationship. But that's also not to say that this is what all non-monogamy is.
I think that's like watching a porn movie and being like, that is what sex is. No,
like it could be, but it's not always.
And it is for a lot of people.
Sometimes.
But it's not always the same. Let's talk about the relationship between the guys only, not like taking out Jessica, right? Because Jessica's there. Jessica, she is added to this polycule, but before her, they were together already. And that is something that, to me, I freaking loved it. Because when you read White Shoes books, most of the time, the author will either realize one of the guys that he's bisexual, or, like in the book, and we love them, they're great, heck yes, or one of the guys is going to be queer or bisexual, but he's in love with other guy, and the other guy doesn't know. You know what I mean? And in this book, they were together already. And that is something that, to me, made the book better.
I agree.
And easier.
I agree. And I think it was really nice to see LGBT representation that wasn't just I'm repressed and I'm hiding it and I'm in the closet my whole life until this one woman comes in and changes everything. Like they already knew what they were. They were already not ashamed. They had already accepted and embraced their own sexuality, and they weren't afraid of it, and they didn't feel like they had to hide it. It wasn't like Jessica came in as this like white girl savior and made everybody realize that love is love. You know, it was nice, because sometimes I get a little like ooh, whenever it's like, oh, this one woman was able to help you see that you love your best buddy all along because you're willing to share me with him.
We freaking love those books, and we will read them till the day we die. But it's nice and refreshing to see that the guys already loved each other. She's just a new addition to the relationship, heck yes, but they already had a relationship without her. And we don't see that a lot. There is a moment, I don't remember if it is Jason or Lucas. Yes, it had to be either, no, or it was Manson. I don't remember. Either of those three. They said something to Jessica that is like, I always thought that I would grow up and marry a woman and have a family and, like repeat the same things that my parents did. And I one day realized that that wasn't for me, that was not my dream. And when I read that, I love this so much because I think even though I'm the type of person that I don't want kids, but I'm not opposed to the possibility of it. If I do it, it will be with people like them, like not just me and another guy. It had to be in a community of people that we love each other. That's the only way I'm gonna have kids, unless my husband is like a multimillionaire. Of course, that's different.
Because then you can hire people to help you, obviously.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You get it.
Wait, why are you acting like raising kids alone is super hard? That's weird. Can't relate.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have a lot of examples in my life, and I'm like, you see, I love you, babes, but no. Yes. I think all of us, even if you grow up like Vincent in a very open and very relaxed family, you have that in your day-to-day life. But society is society. Society wants woman, men, kids, family, mortgage, the whole shebang thing. They knew when they met each other, like all of these four guys, that wasn't for them. They knew, and they embraced that.
If Jess decided that she was going to move to New York and she wanted to live in the city, and they couldn't make that happen because of everything, and they didn't want to live in the city, and things ended between all the four guys and Jess. What I love about this relationship is that her leaving, I don't think would disband the guys. Because if you think about like pucking around, right? I don't, especially if you're just looking at the first book.
Exactly.
If Rachel were,
right?
I haven't. No, if Rachel were to leave after the first book, right? If Rachel were to leave after the first book, she finished her internship, she got a big job somewhere else, and they couldn't go with her. Maybe Jake and Caleb might stay together, but Ilmari would be like, "No one knows of this, okay? Right. Nobody hears, and we never touch dicks, okay?"
Yeah.
So, like, for me, this was probably the first one that I've read where I'm like, oh, they've got these deep, meaningful connections outside of their connection to the main character, the main female character. And I just think that's great. It's just so different to read because you don't see it that often. Because a lot of times I chooses one woman and four men and all the men are with her, but they might dabble with each other a little bit, but it's mostly them all with her. And this is more of a polyamorous representation. I just think it's great.
If you are getting the idea of maybe I can be into this, or maybe I can talk about this with my partner, these are great books. Besides the smut, because the smut is fantastic. But besides that, these are great books to help you understand how the whole thing goes down when it comes to communication, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dynamics in that type of relationships. Now, I do have to say something.
Please do.
In the first and second book, the whole question that we have, the anxiety that we get is, Is Jessica staying? Is Jessica leaving? Is she going to get the job in New York? The job in New York, and all of that, right? And are the guys living with her? Are they not? I hate it so much that they don't talk about it. Like, you guys are great.
Oh my God, just talk about it. Just talk about it. Oh my God.
You guys are great
Thank you.
Communication. You communicate with each other so perfectly. You actually understand the boundaries and all of the whole thing. Why are you not talking about it?
I do understand the on like Jessica's side, her saying like, I know I can't give up my dreams for a man because Ruth Bader Ginsburg taught us better than that. But
yeah, like nar.
But I also can't ask them to leave with me because that would be on a confidence level similar to, look at all these damaged cars. Can I pay you back with my vagina?
I did. She did.
She's got that level of confidence, but I feel like they humbled her a smidge. So by the end of the first book, she's like, probably shouldn't be like, this pussy's so good, you should come to New York. Like, I think she finally lost that edge, but, and so then she was just like, I understand the fear of not wanting to come off as like, well, my dreams are more important than yours, so obviously you're coming with me and you guys are going to abandon your garage and all this stuff. I get that. But the way that none of the guys were like, hey, can we talk about you moving to New York? What's your, like, would you consider maybe commuting to the city?
Manson disappointed me a lot. Just because he is the one with the most adult brain. I mean, that has developed in life. And the fact that I understand why he did it. They were basically, all of them were scared of like scaring her off because she's Jessica at the end of the day. And that's the only Jessica that they know. And I get that. But it's like, you guys, you are literally making this woman do crazy things for you when you are in a scene. Why are you not talking about things? What is your favorite non-smutty scene from the first book?
Oh, I know what one of my favorite scenes was, and it's not deep and it doesn't make you think. But when they went to the party and just threw that fucking punch bowl in that bitch, Deborah, whatever her goddamn name was, just threw the punch bowl in her face and was just like, that gave me fucking life. I was like, yes.
Hey, okay, wait. We actually talk about the bad people in this book because they are obsessed with these people. Like,
yeah,
why are you obsessed with these four men that love each other and they literally don't give a fuck about you?
Yeah, that's on insecurity, bitches. I know what it is the mere existence of four guys who don't adhere to the status quo and who were given a shit-handed life and are still managing to make it out okay and live authentically. These straight-laced assholes are looking at them and just upset because they're not strong enough to do it too. Like, how dare you have the audacity to live authentically and be happy when I'm over here sticking to the status quo. I'm staying within the lines. I'm making my dad proud, even though I don't give a shit about half the things that he wants me to care about. And that's why, like, people told me I had to be that way so that I can be successful. How dare you not follow those rules and also have a fulfilling life? How dare you? How dare you be happy when I'm doing all these things to be happy and I can't manage to be happy? And that I was told my whole life that living this way is going to bring me success and happiness and all these things. And I know that Manson and the guys are not successful yet, but they're very talented. They're all self-taught. They have a deep connection and like deep relationship bonds with one another in terms of family and romantic relationships. And these guys are over here getting wasted on 24 packs of beer every night because they're so fucking miserable they can't even see straight. They're jealous.
Two things. Well, first thing. Yeah. ADHD. First thing. Yeah. No, I didn't.
You went two things, and it went balloons. I don't know.
Sure.
Did it again.
Okay. How did you feel about Jessica's ex not being in the book? In the books.
Oh, I was fine with it. I didn't really think about it too much.
Okay.
Same.
I mean, I think it would have been good to have him back at some point for, like, steer the pot or something. Because I love books. I will die for these books. I want to buy them, the special edition that I just saw on Instagram, because I'm obsessed with those covers.
They're so gorgeous.
But if there's something that I have to say is that on the second book, I wanted, listen, I read a lot of fantasy. I love when people get killed. I love when someone is killing someone. I just love that. And I wasn't getting those vibes here. And I love that because, this is an actual, contemporary, normal life type of book.
Yeah.
But I wanted something. I wanted,
So I haven't finished reading the second book yet. And that's on exhaustion and the holidays. Okay. Wait.
Okay.
I'm 75% of the way through. I start reading and I fall asleep. So I apologize. It'll be done. But I keep getting closer and closer to the end going, when is Manson's dad gonna show up and shoot Jessica and she's gonna be in the ICU? Or maybe he's gonna kill Lucas and then they're all gonna have to mourn over the death of Lucas, who at the end was the Pipple who protected them. I'm waiting for the horrible thing to happen, the climax, and your heart's getting ripped out of your chest. And I'm just the closer I get to the end, I'm I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay. Something happens.
Don't spoil it for me.
Something happens.
Yeah, it's it reminds me of when I read Mercy, and I was he's gonna almost die, and then it was just he got hit in the head once he was fine.
Yeah, keep reading. I'm not gonna say anything. Keep reading. Let's put this out there because I think it's important. I don't think my brain works the same way as the other brains because of the things we read. I expect very, very highly type of writing when I'm reading things. And I had to keep reminding myself that this is not a fantasy book. These guys are they could actually be humans in another, universe or whatever.
In the state I live in.
That is the second thing. I said I had things. That is the second thing. This book made me think that maybe I'm living in the wrong place, friends. Maybe my poor guys are in Tennessee.
You're living in the right place. You don't want to live in Wixton. No, because listen, you've got one gated neighborhood. You got one gated neighborhood, and the town grocer, the nice one is a Publix, and the other one is a 30-year-old Kroger, and everything's falling apart, and all the produce is bad.
No Trader Joe's, no Whole Foods.
No, ma'am.
I'll die.
No.
I'll die in a minute.
No Trader Joe's. No, you want to drive to Nashville? You want to drive an hour and a half to get to a fucking Trader Joe's? Be my guest.
Okay, but
I'm not bitter.
Universe, I'm putting it out there. Send me it doesn't have to be 4. Give me 3. Send me my 3 guys. Send them to me. To New York. Or if I move to where I am. Thank you so much. I have another question for you. What is your favorite smutty scene?
In the first book?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, so you tell me first, what is your favorite scene and why?
And why? It has to be when they all get Jessica ready with the ears, the cat ears, and the maid dress. And specifically, when all of them did their work on Jessica, they not specifically on her, but they did stuff. And then Vincent, he's the last one. He waited for everyone to do things, and then he gets on top of Jessica and Jason because they are still very finishing their job what they were doing. And he waits for Jason to finish. He gets on top of them, and then with everybody's things on Jessica, he just goes in. And that, I don't know why, but that to me was so hot. And wow, it was eye-opening. Yes, it was.
It was nice. I do appreciate earlier in that scene when all the men are listening to her on the Discord while she plays video games with them.
Yes.
I think I might have an exhibitionist kink.
I believe you. That's actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I found the one that did it for me.
Which one was it?
Okay, so it was when they told her that her car engine was like on its way, right? And Jess is like, so Manson, I was looking over your list again, and you like worship. And he was like, she says, you like it, don't you, to have someone on their knees for you, worshiping you, pleasuring you, savoring. And then he says, yeah, I do like that. An angel should worship her God. And she says, tell me how to worship you. And then he put his coffee down and he's like, today is the day. Let's do this. And then he tells her, I you know why I love it? It's because he told her exactly what to do. That is what's so appealing about the subspace, is that you don't have to think. You can let go because the person that you trust is guiding you, and they have your boundaries and your limits in mind, so you don't have to sit there worrying about your safety because you know that they're not going to cross those boundaries, but that they'll listen if they do. And so you can tell them and they'll listen. But other than that, you can be completely safe and completely let go, and you don't even have to think, oh, should I take my clothes off? Because he'll say, strip for me. And you don't have to think, where should I stand? And he'll say, bend over onto your hood, pull your skirt up. And you just do it. You don't have to think. Oh my God, to not have, because we never stop. We never stop thinking. It's fucking constant. God, that's hot. Oh, it's so hot.
A brat that loves to sub for the right person, for the right people, because not everybody is a good dom. We have to say that. Nor daddy, nor master, nor sir. Not everybody is for that. That is my favorite part. I don't have to think. You will tell me everything you want me to do. Because let's be honest, us as women, especially you and me, we have a very dominant-ish type of vibe. And in our daily life, we're the ones, giving orders. And
we're handling shit. We're handling shit daily from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to sleep.
Yes.
We're handling shit. It's just so nice to have somebody handle us for once in a while. Like, I want to be taken care of.
And that is a beautiful part about like being a sub or a brat or like someone that is going to dominate you, right? They're going to do the thing. They're going to tell you what to do. But then after this aftercare, it's good for the brain. Do aftercare. If you're a dom or whatever, or if you're a sub, tell
it is non-negotiable. Aftercare is non-negotiable.
Tell the person, communicate to the person that is your other, whatever it is, dom or sub or whatever.
Yep.
Tell them aftercare has to be done, because that is, you need the balance, because the before, for the after, very important. People don't actually take it seriously, and I don't like that. So when you are talking to someone on the internet, let me tell you, I do it. Listen to me. Ask them what is their favorite aftercare practice.
If they say, what's aftercare? Run.
No. Or, okay, I know that for some people it's true, but listen. In my opinion, cuddling, it's not part of aftercare.
Oh, really? I mean, if you're into that, if you need the physical touch, then yeah.
That's cute. That's nice. But it has to be more than that, because it has to be part of aftercare is acts of service. That is very important.
Yeah, don't use me as like a body pillow and fall asleep while I lay there with like cum dripping out of my vagina. Don't do that.
No.
Please.
Or like when you like
make me
bruise or whatever.
Yeah, make me some waffles, please.
Put some cream. Wash my hair.
Sure, yeah.
Wash me,
Yeah. Put me in the shower, clean me up.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm nice and warm. Get my nice fuzzy socks and my robe, put it on me, lay me down, cover me up, make sure I've got some music to listen. Yes, also kissing me the whole time, kissing everywhere, and then go make me some fucking food. That's after.
Because we're hungry.
We worked really hard.
Thank you guys for coming with us another week. We love you so much. And next week we're gonna be here with another friend. She's been here before. You're gonna love it, and we're gonna talk about losers too. And Reshea, you're gonna finish the book before that, right?
I absolutely will. Most likely.
We love it. We freaking love it. Okay, so because you can get enough of us, follow us on all social medias as @ComeWithUs Pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yes. @ComeWithUs Pod in all of the social medias. We are like that. And be sure to, check us out. We have all the links in our website, www.comewithuspod.com. You can find information, our personal social medias, all the social medias for the podcast right there. Also, please, thank you so much. And rate this podcast 5 stars. And if you listen to us here on Spotify, go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel because honestly, let me be honest with you. I don't care about the monetization. I just want the 1K and at some point to get the plays for the channel because we deserve it. We work very hard on this podcast. So please go and subscribe. Thank you so much. Send this episode to someone that likes white shoes or have read The Losers Duet or likes Party LaRue and they're like doubtful on reading The Losers Duet or not. They have to, so send this to them. Thank you, sinners. You sinners have been good little angels for us today, as Manson would say. Thank you for listening, and remember to stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. Bye. Love you. Bye.